Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an absolute rock star on the show. I'm talking to none other than Sonny Mangat. Now, Sonny is the creative director and managing director of Designworks Media Group based up in Toronto. Now, Sonny actually graduated from Cornell University in the top 2% of marketing and media creation of that year. He has worked with brands such as Nike, Adidas. He's worked with sporting groups. He's worked with car companies like Mazda. Sonny is an incredible person when it comes to design, when it comes to being an absolute branding specialist. And it is absolutely my pleasure to welcome him to the show. Sonny Mangat, thanks, man, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate that. And what's going on?
Hey, dude, now you've worked all over the world. Like I'm seeing Qatar. I'm seeing, obviously based now in Toronto as the managing director up there. Like you've gone all over the world. How did you get into design? Like what was the draw for you in getting into that space?
Oh, wow. It started when I was a young kid, to be honest with you. Kind of always loved design, loved looking at Sports Illustrated magazines. I love sports. I come from a sport background. My, forefathers were Olympic athletes. I had a lot of, athletes in my family. So growing up, I was always interested in seeing all those magazines and all those books and all that stuff with Michael Jordan and Julius Erving and all these people in these magazines, and I was always I want to do this one day. You know what I mean? Not having a clue of how I'm going to even get there. Yeah. But it was always something from when I was a young kid that I wanted to do. I was always kind of creatively kind of inclined. I think it was something it was a God-given talent, I think.
Yeah.
The more I kind of got to know myself as I got older and matured, I kind of, you start to kind of settle in. But I just it was something from being a young kid, wanted to get there, and took some steps, took the wrong steps here and there. I had a really good mentor who's actually one of my best friend. His father was a real big mentor for me besides my dad. Probably the next biggest mentor to me in the sense of giving me the correct path and where I need to go to get to where I want to be. So
nice.
But yeah, it was a good journey, and I'm here.
Do you remember working on the Nike campaign, the Adidas campaigns, and just remembering back to that young kid looking at Sports Illustrated and thinking, oh my God, this is the dream. You're putting the swoosh on that visual, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, how did I get here?
And it's funny because when you're actually doing it, you don't even think about it.
Yeah, right.
You don't even, it's not even a thought on your mind. You're just you're thinking about creating and rolling out and activating a successful campaign. Adidas was actually really interesting. A lot of these things came from just networking.
Wow.
Networking with people, having, being a social creature. And being out there and putting yourself out there and meeting people and networking with people, being a good person and knowing how to close a deal.
Is that something that you do proactively, Sonny? I speak to a lot of people running agencies and that kind of stuff. And the question, how do we get clients? How do we fill the pipeline? How do we do all that sort of stuff? Is that something that you're conscious of and consciously working on it, regularly?
I am conscious of it. I used to get laughed at with the model that we've had in place since about 2005, 2006. We used to have agency bigwigs. We'd go into meetings and stuff, and they'd sit there and they'd laugh at us. Oh, one of those guys working out of his garage with, and probably, partially we're to blame as well. Probably not being able to communicate correctly enough in that time to be able to make them feel comfortable. But it's funny how the world works. It's kind of gone now, kind of 180 or 360, where that model right now is the model of what's going on.
Absolutely.
But we used to, I used to get laughed at, and our model is pretty good. We've done a good job with it. It's a successful model. It's working for us now. I lost a little bit of the topic, what you were asking about. So,
So
I do
networking specifically, like generating those contracts through people that
yeah.
you know, and being out there.
At the end of the day, I think working in the Middle East
Yeah.
was really enlightening for me.
So.
To see how, I'm a person of like geography and history and stuff like that, but what I learned and whatnot throughout life, going and actually experiencing it. The Arabs are really smart in how they have their hands in a lot of different pies, to bring success to them, right? But part of it is networking.
Yeah.
And knowing like the people around you and using those people and to create a successful business.
Wow.
So, I think networking is massive. At the end of the day, it's the type of company that we are. We don't want to just have a client as a number. We want to be involved with them. We want to have a trust relationship, build that trust. Because a lot of the clients that come to us, they've already gone through the whole rigmarole of being screwed up over by an agency, and they have a really bad taste in their mouth, right? To spend a lot of time trying to build their trust, and once you do that, and if it works out successfully, everything blossoms. But I find that when you're trying to bring leads and then do it like in those types of ways. But when you network and build a proper network of people and have people that that the word of mouth advertising that spreads is next to nothing. It's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, for sure. Like people coming to you, obviously, because then you've built that trust, you've built that circle, you've proven yourself in different environments, and you get introduced from someone who's the marketing manager of Adidas, for example, introduce you to the next guy, and it's a done deal before you.
Yeah, it's funny with Adidas, like it was somebody that I had a fellow work colleague through networking, and
cool.
He knew somebody at an agency downtown who were basically on the task of creating the Stickman campaign for Adidas, the Impossible is Nothing campaign. This was like back a while, like many years ago. But the budget was low.
Yeah.
They wanted to have something that was effective, and they just didn't know. And this is an agency, it's a big agency with tons of overhead, sales guys, all that big thing, right? A little bottom feeder like me would have no chance going in there and try to even get that project. But what happened was they couldn't execute it. They couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of content because of licensing and whatnot. David Beckham, and I think Zidane was in there, Zinedine Zidane, and they had a lot of content that they'd taken, and they didn't know how to kind of like bring it all together.
Yeah.
And because the budget was so low at that time, we were working with Flash and just like old school Macromedia stuff back then before it changed into like what Adobe's doing now. But it was like low budget. What can we do to like bring this all together? So he knew this. There's a Russian dude, and he had links with guys in the agency, and he's like, I got a guy.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And they ended up taking a chance, and we did all the bridging between all the content, the video footage with Stickman, because that was like low budget. So I'm like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing, getting my guys and putting in the creative, because there's a lot of things that come into play. People, clients don't want to pay for the creative time that is spent, the thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it worked out. It was a successful campaign. We did it
absolutely.
Kind of quick and dirty, and it worked out, and it ended up going. It was global.
Fantastic. That's such a cool story. Do you see campaigns that are global now, Sonny? Do you look at media, you look at digital creative, and you go, whoa, that's got like some serious cut through. What's a couple of campaigns that have done that for you?
I think what Nike's done lately has been has been top notch. You know what I mean? What they're doing with in terms of like taking like all the relevant social matters that are going on, they've somehow take those social matters and use them very intricately and very like subtly to like pass the message on and actually bring so much more like more money and income to their business itself, right? And it becomes now like almost like a social, like it's almost like a gospel. You know what I mean? They just launched that thing, Don't Do It, the other day. It was like just a black, with their Nike font. Amazing, you know what I mean? But their creative team, I got to take my hat off to them straight up, man. They've been doing an amazing job for the last, I could say honestly, like about 3-4 years now.
Yeah, they're doing.
Other than that, there's I think a company called 4 Oceans that's doing cleanup in the oceans around the world. And
nice.
plastics and stuff like that. And they're making bracelets. And what they've done, limited budget, small startup, very simple idea. And what they're doing, I think, is absolutely amazing. Not only like on the level of cleaning up the oceans, like a global kind of like green initiative, plus like using that stuff in recycling and making it better, and like great,
cool story.
Yeah, cool story, awesome. Those would be probably the 2 top ones in my head right off the bat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sonny, you were saying that you had an amazing mentor, which was your best friend's father, in addition to your own father. And one of the things you said was that he helped you stay on the right path. And you mentioned, you're taking a lot of wrong steps, taking a lot of right steps, and he helped kind of guide you through. What were some of the things early on for you with Designworks, with your own stuff, with building that out? What were some of the things early on that you learned along the way that you were like, whoa, I didn't realize that was going to hit me so hard?
Where do you want me to start?
Yeah, man. All right. So, let me ask that in a different way. What's the biggest slip up that you've made in terms of getting started to where you are now? And what did you learn about it from there?
Being too nice and being too naive.
Tell me about that.
Youngsters, teenagers, we're all young once upon a time. We all go to college. We all go and sow our seed and do our thing and have a good time and blah, blah, blah. We think we know the world. Some people are blessed to have a little bit of more swagger than others. But I think that was one of the biggest things. You come out of school and you feel that you're the bee's knees, right?
Yeah.
The next best thing since sliced bread, and you quickly learn that there's a lot of sharks out there. You can get eaten up pretty quick, right? So that was the biggest thing, the naivety, and just kind of like over the years, it takes time, right? You have to that famous saying, a well-seasoned professional. I know they say it's overused, but it does have some truth to it.
Right. So your early days you were saying naive, as in
just thinking you know it all.
Yeah, sure.
I know it all. I'm young, single, ready to mingle. Out in the scene, doing my thing. Right. I got networking, making money, things are happening. Top of the world, and but there's always somebody you think you're good. There's always somebody that's better than you out there, and sometimes you're gonna buck up on them, and you're gonna be taught a hard lesson, right? And God works in mysterious ways, so that's kind of what happened, really. To be honest with you, I had to learn in that way. But sometimes you see all these things out there, the art of the deal. Unfortunately, the donkey talks about it quite a bit. Mr. Trump. He's been kind of going on a little bit, kind of sideways a little bit, but things like that. There's a lot of stuff.
There was an amazing book before he became president, The Art of the Deal.
It is, and
I love
the actual philosophy behind it. It is, the art of not giving a fuck. There's some books out there that kind of like help you, but you go through situation. I think the best thing is you have to go through it, and I think each and every person is going to have their own. They're going to have their own experiences. You know what I mean?
And they have to along the way, like they have to have that experience. They can't just read about it. You know, they have
My
to.
dad used to sit there and laugh at me all the time. He's like, "You're a joker, dude. You're a freaking clown." He's like, "You need to harden up. You know what I mean? You're too nice. You're too this. You got." And I'll be like, "Dad, you're being too hard. You know, relax. I can't be like that with my clients. You know." And he's like, "You need to." He just sit there. He goes, "I don't even know what to do." Like, knock his head. He'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you're a clown." You know what I mean? But I actually was a
You
clown.
can see what he was trying to say.
I was a clown. I actually was, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but you know too much. You're young. You know too much.
Yeah.
But you learn. You know, you grow, you learn, and that's the most amazing part is that admitting your faults. I think that's a big thing behind like becoming a better person and realize and becoming a better leader, becoming a better businessman.
Yeah.
Running a business, it's not easy. You know, accepting your faults, admitting where you're wrong, taking responsibility. It's huge. You know what I mean?
And definitely not something that you can read about.
No, you got to go through it. You got to dig the trenches, and that's the thing. Like my dad used to say to me, "You goes, you know, you guys, I don't understand. You guys come out here from school. You guys think you're big shooters." You know, he goes, "No one becomes a VP or a president or CEO for no reason." He goes, "You got to dig the trenches first."
That's it.
I don't give two hoots if you got a piece of paper behind you. You know what I mean? Let's see you dig the trenches, work your way up.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna do it.
Nice.
Right? So
was business a struggle for you at the beginning?
actually business was it was so easy at the beginning and I didn't even realize because I was so damn naive.
Right.
Right? Just because you're blind by the light.
No, right. Okay. So you're doing things that that the fear didn't even touch you.
No, you're just like, I'm getting the work's coming in. It's happening. You know, I shot myself in the foot. I learned a lesson. Like, I had not a big mouth, but like, again, being naive.
Yeah.
Too nice.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, hey, Mr. Director, I can help you out here. I can do this. I can do that. You know, and the director comes in one day and says, "You know what? Business model's changing around here. Appreciate all the stuff that you've done for us. But out of your team, you got one of the biggest salaries there, and you're the only guy that's going to survive. The rest of them, we get rid of any of them, they're going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, adios. Have a good day. Appreciate your time.
Good luck on the next one.
And we'll talk to you later." And it was actually not even about a month and a half later, the CEO of the company called me up and said, "You know what? We want to bring you on to do all of the sales modules for our sales team in an interactive way so that they can present it to their clients." And they helped me start. That's what actually helped me start off my company. I shot myself in the foot, but because I networked well, got a good rapport with people, you don't burn bridges. You know, try to be grateful, try to have a good vibe with people. You can get a lot further with a little bit of honey than you can with a little bit of salt. That ended up, you know, coming back to me. And they were the ones that brought me on from, you know, working in an agency at first to getting the boot to a couple months later and boom, there we go. That's where Designworks Media Group started.
Was that your first client? Was your old employer your first client, or you had 6 weeks? Did you have a client in between there?
See, to be honest with you, I'll be totally transparent with you. I know it's many years. I hope the statute of limitations are passed or whatever the case is. But at that point in time, you know, within being compliant, of course, that's the number one thing you want to do, and making sure that you're not signing, you're not doing anything illegal or unethically. Because one thing in the digital media industry, it's such a new industry. There's no code of ethics really. Yeah, sure. And that's a big issue is amongst the industry is that there's no like kind of solid ground where you know you're going to be good. It's just all over the place. So I had a lot of the sales force at the company that obviously was going out and seeing different clients at GTA that had other needs. Yeah. You know, we need brochures. We need, you know, at that time print was kind of like, it was starting to sync, but they're just trying to like
Still trying to keep it alive.
live, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like the smaller businesses would probably use print media to help them out, right?
Yeah.
So it was stuff that wasn't that what Toronto.com actually did, right? It was stuff that these guys saw a need that their clients needed. And hey, you know what? When you're young, you hustle.
You do what you can.
Entrepreneur, you hustle.
Yeah.
You got a rapport with them. You go for a couple of drinks. You schmooze, blah, 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 blah. Hey, son, I got a guy that needs, hey,
Sweet.
Send him on, right? So, I could have been called a little bit of a douchebag by moonlighting, but it was still being compliant with what I was doing for the company.
For sure.
And what it was, right?
And you know what, like everybody starts that way, I think. Everybody has that kind of side hustle and, and then they realize that this is something that I can do outside of the scope and, starts that. And I can certainly relate, like, back into 10 or 12 years ago, like working nights and working weekends on doing other things outside of the scope. But as I said, keeping everything the right way it should be, but getting started on the side for sure. Do you remember, Sonny, the first time you realized that you were in over your head? You went, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get through these days. Like you needed staff. You needed somebody to help you out with the bits and pieces. Do you remember that time?
Do I remember that time?
It didn't break you. It didn't break you. So it must have made you.
I went through that today.
Nice. All right. There you go.
I go through it. Every so often I go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What's your model to move through that now?
Keep positive.
Okay.
Get your head out your arse.
Yep.
Admit your faults. You can lie to anybody else out there. Don't lie to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows what. We all know at the end of the day. We all know.
When you look in the mirror, you know.
And I apologize in advance for using a little bit of foul language that people may not appreciate, but excuses are like a-holes. Yeah. We all have one.
That's truth.
Right? So doing that. And then when you know that and you realize that and you say to yourself, you know what? Yeah, make it better. Mm-hmm. Do it. Right? And slowly but surely, things just work out.
As long as you say the path. As long as you deliver, right. Like
work. Battle through it. Right? Admit your mistakes. Know where you messed up. Yeah. Right? But don't beat yourself up about it. Admit it, see it, know it, do it. Cool. Let's go.
Move on to the next one. So
right?
You mentioned Sonny that this starting on the side doing a couple of brochures or whatever where the other company wasn't into that space, you were taking that work on. Do you still take on every job, or are you specific now in the delivery for your clients?
We look at ourselves as a one-stop digital media boutique. Mm-hmm. Okay. I do one thing and I do it well.
Yep.
But I have a team of people that can do other things very, very well and have great credentials behind them. Mm. Right? But we don't have the typical model, right? So I can't do everything on my own. I gotta, if I'm going to be a successful business, you got to pass out the other responsibilities to the people who are good at doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, but find the people that are good at doing it and being able to work with them takes a long damn time, man.
You have how big's your team now, Sonny?
Sorry?
How big's your team now?
We got about 8 people working with us now.
All right.
Right. We keep it small. We don't want to be big. We don't want to get too stupid. Again, because then clients become numbers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, makes sense.
And, if I was greedy and I wanted to be the likes of like a lot of the bigger corporates out there, I won't mention any names. I could be kind of cold but again, that naivety comes back in. But it's probably why I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't want to be like that. We want to kind of have that kind of relationship. I think that you can get a lot further with existing clients, and you can't try to chase new clients all the time, right?
Right.
Seeing them grow, seeing them have success, building that trust with them, they're willing to spend more money with you as well. And our business, kind of in the end of the day, it's a results-driven business.
Yeah, sure.
People aren't going to spend money with you if you ain't making them money. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you focus, once you have a client inside of the Designworks infrastructure, that you're doing everything for them in terms of their growth, like making sure that they've got new campaigns coming through.
It really depends. Like, it's so different, honestly, Walt. Like, it's all over the map. Like, we'll have clients who are in the middle of trying to, like, they maybe rolled out a campaign, they've had no success, and then they're trying to correct it, and they're just going through, like, button heads with who they're working with, and then money becomes an issue, and then it's like they're stuck, right? Basically the agency has them by the cojones, right? So do I charge like a lawyer does to start? They want to talk to you, they want advice. How do I get out of it? What do I do? Like, you're not charging for any of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of them, they come and they've gone through a bad moment, right?
Yeah.
And they want to get more out of their money at the end of the day.
Yep.
Right? They need a moment of clarity, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where we're there to help them.
And in delivering that help, in getting them out of a sticky situation, like they'll come across, you get them as a client longer term, like be able to work on the next campaign with them or whatever.
And that's the thing, it's longevity for us, right? It's,
sure.
And we've had clients that, even recently, I lost a client that we've had probably for like 13 years.
Wow. So this is going to be painful, but why did you lose them?
Because I was over in the Middle East at the time, directing and like working on a startup over there and helping with a guy from some other print media director guy that was working out there. So, like I said, we like to keep it very personal with our clients, not just be a number. And because, and that kind of bit me in a way, right? Because they had that rapport and that being able to get in touch with us at any time, and that really kind of babysitting, cradling them, making them feel good and whatever. When they didn't have it, it was like, no, I don't know if we can, like, I'm not enjoying this. It's really
right. They had that withdrawal.
Right? The performance was amazing. They didn't want to do it, but they wanted to be spoiled a little bit more. Right? And of course I wanted to spoil them, and of course I wanted to keep them, but there's sometimes where you just need to part ways.
Yeah, right.
When you're not appreciated and you show them a lot of success, I'm still talking to you. 1 second.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Show them a lot of success, and you bring really interesting models to them. 1 second.
Yeah, sure, man.
You bring these models to them. You see them. You see the company growing. You see it going from like a medium-sized business to a large-scale operation, and you don't really, they went from like a 15,000 square foot warehouse to like a 60,000 square foot warehouse.
Wow.
All with one, it was, again, networking.
Yeah.
He had a friend that had an issue where they were keeping used forklifts that were already gone through like their tenor and sitting in the back of the warehouse. Warehouse is getting filled. What do we do?
Right.
Hey, well, why don't we start an auto trader for material handling equipment? Boom. Right? Get the whole model going. Cleared out, right? Oh my gosh, now that's where the trust builds up. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, what have you done? but then you don't see the appreciation down the road,
Right.
right? And over the years, you know, I think any successful entrepreneur, you have to get to a point where you have to know you're good at what you do.
Yep.
Ain't no
And be
half
able to
step,
charge for it accordingly.
right? So, you know, we did that. We lost him because he didn't have that babysitting. He wanted to have that. Somebody else kind of came in the way. Decided to work with them, and that's fine. I know what we can do. We know we're good at what we do.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll come back. They will come back, and they did, come back.
Nice.
Right? And when they did come back, well, this is the way it is, and they didn't like it. So then you just go your own way, and we will go our own way.
Do you think?
And then now you see what's going on and what they're doing, what they're spending compared to what they could have had.
Comes back to you. Nice. So losing that, as I said, that's a painful experience because you lost a client that you had for 13 years. Do you have different things in place now with the clients that you're bringing on board to kind of prevent that babysitting coming up again? Or is that something that you pride yourself on? Is that something that you really have as an ethos within the Designworks framework?
We pride ourselves on being able to be personal, like with our clients, right?
Nice.
Play fair with us, we will play fair with you.
Beautiful.
Right? When you want to step out of bounds, there may perhaps be a gross misconduct that you're going to have to deal with.
Which would be not working with you and not getting the results that they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? You know, we need them just as much as they need us.
Sure.
Right?
That should be the way it works.
We want their money just as much as we want to show them a successful campaign. But when they're not playing fair and what's right is what's right and what's wrong is what's wrong. And, you know, over the years, it took me a lot of years. It probably took me about a good 5-6 years to realize certain policies and procedures, certain things that I need to do to protect myself as an agency and protect my people that I'm paying. There's certain stuff you don't learn that in school.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are a lot of sharks out there. They can get you in every different kind of way. There's so many different ways. You got to learn. You got to go through it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's where
I can see you sitting around the table the same way as your dad did with you, talking to your son, saying, "You're a clown. You have to go through this stuff." Now that you've got the lessons that you've learned.
You know, I got an amazing daughter. She's my eldest, and I got two sons. They're all 2 years apart. So I got Soleil, 6 years old, Soren, 4 years old, coming on to 4, and Saxon coming on to 2. And for me, you know, I see raising children as a business.
Tell me about that.
It's the quarters, 4 quarters.
Nice.
Right? 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 16.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you can show them and
post-game briefing.
Whatever you can show them and teach them in those years, the love, whatever you can do in those years, that's what's going to be their foundation. That's what they're going to go, because you know what happens when they start becoming teens. Teens ain't easy, right? But whatever you can show in those years, that's what's going to rate kind of their success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I see raising my children.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I've got 2 myself, so I agree. Do you working for yourself, having the role that you have? Obviously, there's a lot of demands on your time. Do you find that there's a conflict between family life and business life, or have you managed to balance that pretty well?
There is, the only conflict I have is I beat myself up too much.
Yeah, tell me.
Right? Could always do a little bit better. I could always do a little bit better.
Sure.
Could always do a little bit, maybe. But someone's got to make the money.
That's it.
Right? So having an equal work-life balance, I think exercise is a big thing. I have my dream originally was to be a professional ice hockey player. So I play ice hockey. I played ice hockey all my life. I'll play ice hockey till I can't walk anymore.
I saw that on your bio that you're a coach,
Yeah.
that you're a player, that
Yeah. So it's big for me, but, um, you know, I think that, you know, being exercise, keeping yourself kind of mentally in check at all times,
yeah,
it goes a long ways.
it can't do any harm. So what's your daily routine then, Sonny? Like what's a day in the life of Sonny Mangat?
Wow. Wow. Well, I saw a thing the other night. What was it? It was 5 a.m., the hour when legends are either going to sleep or getting up. So I have clients all over the world, right? Globally. And with how our business works, we do, we have the whole marketing strategy and digital media activations and rollouts. We do the creative side. We also do like hosting and development and whatnot, which is another, like our other team that does that stuff, right?
Mhm.
My business partner is involved in that side of the business. That's what he heads, right? And that's the background he comes from. But it works really well. But he also he has his things as well that he does, right? With his clients, whatever. So we have a good model, and I'm up pretty much 24 hours a day, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I know that I have to get, for my health and my wellness and my strength, and to be able to be around for my children for a while, because I started off a little late, a little bit of a late bloomer, right? I was having a little bit too much fun sometimes, right? But, I know how many hours of sleep I need to get.
Mm-hmm.
And when you work globally and you work all over the world, and you've been I've been in different regions of the world for a lot of my life, traveled a lot of places, you really kind of don't see the whole day as normal, they would say, quote unquote, normal people would, because I'm up whatever time I need to be. If my clients, and that's what my clients really appreciate, the fact that I have a client in South Africa, I have a client in the UK, I have a client in Oman, I have a client in Qatar. If they call and they're 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours ahead of me, their business hours start at 8, 9 in the morning. That's right. They don't want to talk to my developer. They don't want to talk to my sales rep. They don't want to talk to, I apologize. I'm not trying to be in any way racist in any way, shape, or form, but what goes on, and it does cause, but they don't want to be talking to somebody where there's a language barrier, that's someone in another country that is running a call center and they're just a number.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're putting out, these people are spending a lot of money on these projects. You have to have a little bit of class and understand, right? If you want to do it right. And that's where we differ from most of the agencies, is that the way the cloth that I'm cut from, right? I'm focused on my clients' needs. I'm not focused on my clients' wallets.
Got it.
Right? If my clients call me at 4:00 in the morning, I'm up at it.
Nice.
Just because I'm a CEO or a founder of a company, that doesn't make me shit. My bosses are all my clients. And if I don't have any expectations from them, right? But if they need me, I'm going to show them. I'm going to be there for them, right? I'm going to be responsive. I'm going to have the responsibility to get the stuff done, right? Simple. And they're happy. I'm happy. Invoice goes out. They pay. Happy days.
Everybody wins. So how does that impact then? How do you get to play? How do you get to be out on the ice when that's the case? Do you set aside a certain amount of time for downtime, or how do you manage that?
I have an amazing wife, first and foremost. God bless her soul. She's an amazing, 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 amazing woman. And like they say, behind every great man is an even better woman, right? So we don't, we handle it, we juggle it. And she probably knows that if I don't go out and play hockey, that she's going to be sitting with an old prick in the house.
Right. So you got to let that out.
Well, yeah, but so it's something you do. It's something you've always done. And it right. And then when she wants to go and get her space, it works well. You're allowed to have your own lives as husband. Something to talk about when you come home, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the way it works around here, right? Cool. And it's wellness. It's a wellness thing at the end of the day, right?
Nice. I like it. Sonny, can I ask you from an agency point of view? Yeah. I talk about this a lot with some of the superstars, the rock stars that we've had come on to the show, that the barrier for entry to being a digital agent is so low. In other words, anybody can just say, hey, today I'm starting my digital agency. What do you think about that in terms of anybody can get started? And what advice would you give to somebody who's in that space where they may have some skills in some areas, digital marketing specifically, and they want to go out, they want to start their own agency. What advice would you give to that person at that point in time?
Anyone. I mean, anyone. If you put your mind to something, you can do it. Mm-hmm. All right. It don't matter what little you know and I appreciate what you're saying, Walt. Trust me, you have a lot of. I agree with you 100% with what you're saying. Yes, and with all of those factors put into play, don't limit yourself. We're all human beings. We are all smart people. We all do what you love, and if you love doing that, you will succeed. Nice. But what you need to do is you need to create and find a good team.
Rule number one?
Rule number one. You can't do everything by yourself. You will, if you want to be a narcissistic fool and you want to think that you're going to do it all by yourself and be macho, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. You already lost the game. You already build your team. Have the people that are good at what they do what they do. Trust in them. And that's the thing. Finding a good team, it ain't that easy. And where you make the money is when you become a good leader running that team. Right? You have to have the trust. You have to have the people that no matter what, you've put them in that place and entrusted them to do that job. They trust you. You have a good balance. You're going to have tough times. You're going to have good times. But the thing is, being able to get over it and come back as mature human beings, deal with the matter, don't have no animosity, work through it, go with it. Tell me, if you don't build a good team, no.
You already lost the game. I like what you said there. You already lost the game. So somebody that's starting out, Sonny, I'm picturing somebody right now, they're in their car, they're listening to this podcast, they're on their way to the job that they've been working at for 10 years, but they finally want to go out on their own. And they're hearing you, they're saying, all right, team, I need to get my team together. Is it necessary to go out and hire 5 people straight away? Tell me about that. How should somebody build that team initially?
There's no I in team. Your team could be your wife. Your team could be your team could be your son. Your team could be your mom. Your team could be... It's your team. You don't go, why would you go do that? That would, and that's one thing I love about sport in general, because it taught me so much, right? And I'm so blessed that I had the ability and the love, and my dad had the money to be able to put me into hockey, which is it's a pretty expensive sport to play. Right, but it taught me so much, and that was one sport that taught me about leadership. Going and hiring people, and that's the thing. These guys at these agencies, these so-called shooters, they just sit there. Hey, who do you? Oh, your wife. They laugh, but it's because it's this whole facade. I gotta hire people. I gotta have a front.
Yeah.
You don't. Work smart, don't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Do you have a philosophy on outsourcing versus internal team?
I won't outsource anymore.
No, okay, all right.
Won't do it. I won't do it because, well, it depends. If it's outsourcing, it depends on what it is and depends on how you're stating the word of outsourcing, because outsourcing is a very general.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm talking about a specific skill set that you need for a specific project at a specific time, to bring that expert into the team for a one-off rather than look to add that person to the team on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the outsourcing is good that way. I mean, that's way I got to where I am today.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
People outsourcing their marketing to you.
Yeah, I'm a small fish in the big sea, right? Mm-hmm. So the big sharks are saying, you know what, we different budgets that they're playing with at the time, you know, not knowing, but I'm getting the work. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with outsourcing in that sense.
Right.
But I find what happens is because of greed, right? And that is what a lot of people, unfortunately, in this society today is there's so much freaking greed that they will go and send their outsourcing to a place where the labor is next to nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're paying, yes, you buy it cheap, you buy it twice, but you know, there's language barriers. There's this, people are smart just because they're paying, you're paying them half the amount of money. They're still going to find a way to get you. Mm-hmm. It ruins the project. It takes a lot more time to roll out the activation. The client gets frustrated. We're frustrated. They're frustrated. No one gets anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my kind of, but if you're dealing with somebody like who has a third party app or something that you can plug in, that's going to help you as that's kind of thought as an outsource. Right?
Yeah.
Finding a company like that helps you from what they provide to be able to scale that business's projects forward easily, right? That's what you want to use. You want to be smart and find something that you can have there that for future that you can scale up with them.
Okay. So they become partners rather than just contractors.
Yeah, because
in a financial sense, but you know, in terms of ongoing work, in terms of shared workload and growth and visions and that kind of stuff as well.
Building a team.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very cool, dude. If you lost everything, like company shut down, client base is gone, put you in another country, and get you to start again, what would be your first 5 moves?
You're talking on a professional side, or you're talking about family and business? No.
Family comes with you. I'm talking only professional stuff. Like, as you said, like you've had too many times of good times and that kind of stuff before. No, family comes with you.
I've had real rough times too.
No doubt. Right? I'm just staying on the professional level. Like, let's take you off. Let's take you out of Toronto. Like, you lose the company that you have, the client list that you have. You take with you your skill set and your knowledge, the family, of course. And we pop you down somewhere and we say, now you got to start again. Let's put you in, I don't know, Munich or somewhere like that, and say,
let's put us in Muscat, Oman.
Let's do that. Right? Well, no, you've got too many contacts in Muscat.
Circa 2012. No, wait, circa 2012, Muscat, Oman.
All right.
Sonny Mangat lands in Muscat, Oman. He's been recruited out there to work with a guy that comes from Wonderman agency, who's a big creative director from there, who has a big print background. Mm-hmm. So Sonny Mangat comes down to be recruited as the digital, basically had the digital side of the business on a company called We Network. You do your work, you go down there, you negotiate everything happens, it works out, and you move your whole family. You grab a 20-foot container, You move your whole life. You shift your whole life to another country. You get there, and you find out your business partner is funneling money out of the company.
No,
you're not getting paid.
that'd be awesome.
So first 5 things I would do.
Tell me.
When you get on the ground, you start networking.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Build your network. Find the expat community that you want to be involved in, or find the people that you want to kind of be involved with. Start to network. Get out there. Get on the golf course. If there's a lot of times depends where you are. If we're talking about Muscat, you go to the Australian embassy, or you go to the British embassy, or go to the Canadian embassy. You start getting involved. Start to meet people. Start to get your name out. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out.
Nice.
Right.
Okay. So that's week 1. You've got involved. You're at the communities. You're talking to people. You're meeting people. You're setting up a lunch. You're having a coffee with some people. Okay. Move 1 done.
Week 2. Second thing. Once you've done that, start your meetings. Try to start to focus on what do I need to close on with these people? What are their needs? What do they need to do? How can I build a strategy around it? How can I get in?
What do they need, and how can I fulfill
their problems? How can I show them? Because I know I'm good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm telling them what I'm doing. I want to show them now.
Yeah.
Right? Talk is cheap. Right? Get in there. Find their problems. How can I fix their problems? What is it that they need? Schmooze with them. Right? And then that's at that point you start to understand that where they are, what their problems are, what they've gone through. And usually a lot of them aren't too worried about the work at hand. It's about the relationship that they have with the person, the trust, always feeling like they're maybe getting a little bit, someone's getting a little extra scoop of ice cream here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you can't have trust, you're not going to be able to work with a person.
Got it.
Right?
So move 2 done. Like you've got involved. You've integrated yourself into a network quickly. You've started to meet some people, have those meetings, find out what their needs are.
But it ain't that easy. There's a lot of shoot shitters out there, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of guys, oh yeah, right? A lot of that. But get in there, get yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Once you put yourself out there, follow up on that stuff.
Nice. Okay. So move number 3, fulfill your promises.
Follow up, right?
Got it.
You might get shot down. You might get shot down by all of them except for one person, right? But that one person might end up bringing you back another 6 people.
Yeah.
Right? So never, ever take any of those leads for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it. Be grateful for it. Do the best you can do with it, because it can blossom into so much more stuff. And that's the thing I don't understand, why people just go for that quick one hit, go in and rob and screw them and get the money. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You can make so much more money by building that relationship, showing them the trust, being a credible person, right? They won't look to anybody else.
Yeah.
Even if they're going to make another move with someone that can't do what you can do, they're going to come and consult with you and say, what do you think? Are we doing the right thing?
That's when you know you've got the trust.
So for me, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's integrity. You got to have a little bit of integrity, man.
Nice.
It can't be all about money. Right?
I love it. So move number 3 is done. You've integrated. You've found out some needs. You've had some meetings. You're now following up with those people. Move number 4.
Move number 4, start to get yourself, once you got, hopefully between that time, I mean, depending on how much money you have, you're not going to have a lot of money perhaps, unless you're like a big baller, to start getting yourself branded and stuff like that.
Yep.
Right? But by that time, you're probably pretty damn close to closing the deal.
Nice.
Right? So once you start closing, you're getting there, start getting yourself branded. Get the creative juices going. You know what I mean?
Get your digital assets in place. Get all the kind of outreach, all that kind of stuff going on.
Because you don't know if Joe Smith over there that's about to give you that check, you don't know if he's already talked to, Billy Smith and Tom Ferguson and Wendell Clark over at the golf course and said, hey, I got a new guy here that I'm going to be doing some stuff with. You guys got to check him out. right?
Before you know it, you got another 5 people asking for your business card.
And then all of a sudden now you're like, oh shit, I can't take on all this work. What the hell am I gonna do? Oh,
Right. So now we're up to move number 5. This is a good place to be in. Is now move number 5 the time you're assembling your team?
and once you got you should already have guys that you know before you even getting into the game. That you know you can just pick up the phone and say, you know what, time has come.
Yeah, you need your work. Yeah, yes.
Let's move on this. You ready? All right, cool. Let's do this.
Yeah, right. Let's work your way. All right.
Now your integrity is built so much because the people that you told that you're gonna bring the work to, now they're like, oh damn, this guy's a man of his words.
He actually lives up to his deals.
Right? And this is great. And then the client, it's just a win-win situation. It's simple. People try to confuse things too much. I think trying to keep things simple is the most important thing.
I love it. I love it.
Agreed.
And by the way, as we read about the We Network back in 2012, Muscat, Oman, Sonny Mangat lands there, and before you know it, finding out that his business partner was funneling money, he ends up with clients like Mazda, Toyota, Kia, Nabble Biscuits. Like that is some impressive moves that were made there. Sonny, I saw
Football Association, all these clients. So what happened was Mazda. So that's the amazing part is that we were with We Network and he had Nabble Biscuits. We were trying to do the Mazda deal when I started to not I'm not getting paid. I got rent to pay. I got stuff. I got to put food on the table. What's going on here, man? Right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. You're not getting paid. You start getting a little pissed off. So you're not going to be showing up at the office at 9:00 in the morning, right? Because the night before, because you're younger and you're a little bit more naive, and you don't really know how to deal with your problems. Sometimes you're up at night drinking a bottle of rum or drinking a bottle of whatever it is. So you can't, and you're pissed and you don't wake.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have the integrity coming.
Right? It's a real bad trickle effect, and it happened. But luckily, again, the networking side of it is what helped me there, because being in the expat community, playing ice hockey, starting to develop ice hockey there, this, that, and the other, I ended up meeting an American guy who helped draw up the labor law in Oman. So here I am in a foreign country. I don't know my P's from my Q's. I don't know what my rights. I don't know. Right? And by chance.
The right person.
In a pub, having a pint.
Wow.
Right? And he's like, shooting the breeze, and hey, come to my office on Monday. What do you mean? Come on, I'll tell you what your rights are.
Wow.
You paying me 150 reals, equivalent of like $450. I'll tell you what your rights are. Wow. This man helped me out, right? Dissolved it, found out, figured it out, didn't do nothing except, whatever. What's done is done. You can't change it. I'm not going to spend more money on that. But with that, I built myself some integrity. So Mazda, Oman Football Association, all these other clients I got on my own.
Super cool.
Right? Just because through having that trust and that Arab mentality, you do a good job for somebody, they're going to talk. Yep. They're going to talk.
And the phone starts to ring. Mate, I love it. Sonny, I've taken so much of your time, dude, and I'm so grateful. Man, your story.
You want more questions? I'm all good.
Mate, you're amazing. I absolutely love it. Your story is so cool, man. Like starting from where you've gone, and you can actually see, like I said at the beginning, like you can see from the start that your passion from the creative point of view has been huge, even coming through that Cornell space and then being able to work with some of the biggest brands and biggest companies in the world and building to where you are now. And at the same time, keeping the family, keeping the balance, and keeping the focus on delivery for the client and the integrity of that moving forward. I can completely see how you've got to where you are today and how Designworks Media has got to where it is right now. So guys, again, this is Sonny Mangat. He's from Designworks.ca. He is an absolute legend and a rock star. Dude, I cannot thank you enough for your time. You're absolutely amazing. I appreciate it.
You, man. Thank you. Just right back at you, man. Right back at you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, man. I'd love to do this again if you ever have some time, man.
Love to, man. Love to. Let's get together and talk about the future. Appreciate it, man. Again, guys, this is Sonny Mangat, and appreciate your time, dude. We'll catch up with you soon.
All right, man. Bless up.